we are very proud to announce UMP Trading is an official partner with a proven profit track record.
Yeah, if you want great returns on your investments, be sure to check out UMP Trading.
Hello, welcome back to everyone that's tuning into our channel, AUC Talks. Here we are today, Braden and I, to give a brief review of both of these friendlies. We didn't have the opportunity to actually record right after the Germany game. We had the live, which I hope that you guys enjoyed. But Braden was actually at the game today against Ghana, so I'm going to go straight away to you and ask, how was the atmosphere, first of all? How's the match day experience?
I mean, it was definitely a fun experience, but the atmosphere, as always, was lacking a little bit. I think, honestly, MLS games have better atmosphere than US games, which isn't exactly a good thing, but in terms of on the pitch, I mean, the first half was absolutely magnificent. Second half was lacking, as always, but I mean, we got the job done in the first half, which is really all that mattered.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that not being in the game, we have the opportunity to just watch the game, focus a little bit more on the shape, perhaps. I don't know if that's something that usually happens to me when I'm at the game. It depends if my team's losing. I pinpoint and try to look around the pitch, but when I'm watching from home, I tend to look at the shape, and I think that there isn't much for us to compliment, at least in my opinion, in terms of our formation, the press. I think we saw the same things, going up in numbers and not really pressing, which is okay if you're not going to play that way, but it seems to be the way that Greg wants to do, commit players forward without really pressing. And the thing that made us benefit and have that scoreline today is that we were playing let's be honest, way less quality opposition, so therefore they would have some sloppy passing, some bad decision making, and I'm a little bit underwhelmed at how bad Ghana were at the game, to be honest. I thought that we were going to be put to the test a little bit more than we were. And you can look at it two ways. You can say that you can only beat what's in front of you, and we made them look bad, but honestly, I just think that they were really vulnerable today. I don't know if you agree, Braden, in a tactical standpoint. Where do you think we ranked today? Do you think that it was more on us, credit for winning the game, or Ghana were ultimately just there for the taking?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, like we said, credit to the USSF and Greg for actually scheduling these friendlies, because regardless of how poor Ghana were today, it's still miles better than Uzbekistan and Oman from last camp. But yeah, they definitely weren't at their best today. Mohamed Kudus was probably their only good player. He was threatening at times, but besides that, nothing really stood out to me from Ghana's perspective. Even Thomas Partey, who's usually pretty good for them, was basically missing. Honestly, I didn't really see him doing much of anything, which I guess credit to our midfield for shutting him down. But yeah, I think it was a really good performance, and I think they were demoralized. We scored very quickly, and then got two more quick ones early. I mean, it was already 4-0 by halftime, and at that point, I think we kind of let it off a little bit. They kind of had given up already. So not the best Ghana performance, but this is a World Cup team. We can't take away from the talent that they have, and I think credit to our boys for looking as good as they did. Although I will say is this performance is gonna definitely boost Greg's position to stay in the job, which ultimately is not a good thing.
Yeah, I think that this is a classic papering over the cracks type of game. I would have loved if we played Ghana prior to playing Germany, so that way we can compare how we fare against teams that honestly we should be beating. We should be competing comfortably head-to-head against the ones that we ultimately want to be competing with, the ones that we want to punch above our weight. Because I can already picture a lot of people, Alexi Lalas, for example, saying, well, see, there's progress being made. Of course, we're not ready for Germany yet, but we are beating the teams we should be beating, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I just think that, and again, Partey, I don't really rate him anymore at Arsenal, but anyways, I think that Kudus was the only player that really can be said was threatening today. I really like him. I think he's a really good player. And to be honest, I think out of this crop of Ghanaian players, he's probably the best one by far. And it's nice that we've had some historic matchups against them in the past, and yeah, I just think that overall, I don't know if you want to expand more on the game before we move on to the camp as a whole. I just wanted to ask, did anyone catch your eye today? Did anyone impress you for this game as compared to the first one? We saw Johnny play. We saw Miles do another masterclass of his. And I think Weah looked a lot better in this game. Honestly, I think that Serge looked a lot better today too. But I mean, he was having fun. I feel like this is sort of his level. It's pretty similar to the one that he finds in the Eredivisie, and he can thrive in. But anyone catch your eye and that you think can leave with a positive, or did anyone turn things around compared to the first game? What do you think, Braden?
Yeah, I think the main takeaway from this is Dest should never play left back again. He was so much better at right back, and yeah, obviously it's a worse opponent, but you can tell so much confidence. I mean, he had a couple of runs, especially one caught my eye in the first half where he was just, I mean, he looked like Messi or Neymar running through the Ghanaian team. It's something that you see from him, honestly, a lot, almost every game. And it's always when he's on the right. When he's on the left, especially, I don't know what it is with him and Pulisic, but they don't work together well. And I think PSV need to take notes, because I think if they played him at right back with Van Aanholt on the left, I think it'd be a lot better for them. Not that they're doing bad by any means, but Dest, he needs to be playing right back. And Christopher Lund as well had an amazing game at left back. He really impressed me. I think he did a decent job, as good as he could do, stopping Kudus, who is obviously a Serie B player versus a Premier League player. So I think, considering the circumstances, he did pretty well. And yeah, he impressed me. Weah was a little bit better. Still, honestly, not my favorite performance from Weah. I don't think he's at the level of some of our other players. And I mean, this is basically every game, but Reina showed why he's probably one of our most important, if not our most important player. Because just like the Germany game, when he's on the pitch, we looked incredible. And when he wasn't, our offense was lacking. Not the creative spark was missing. And I mean, we saw that 4 goals in the first half, including 2 from Gio, and none in the second half when he was subbed off. So I think those were the main key takeaways. Also, Chris Richards also did not look that great again. Definitely better than the Germany game, because I don't think it could get worse, but he was being outperformed by Miles Robinson. Not a great performance for him, so a little concerning for someone who's supposed to be our best center back.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. I think that Chris Richards was horrible. That's the word that I'll say. Honestly, for what I expect for him, for all the hype and carrying he's our best, he's our locked-in starter for 26, horrible. I think really bad. Looks kind of fat too, to be honest. I'm not trying to body shame him. It looks a little fat from the television. He looked a little bit fat, at least. And I think that I agree. I think that Weah's spot is there for the taking, to be honest, at this point, especially considering the fact he won't be playing there for club anymore. You know, at least as far as we know, for the short-term and medium-term plan, that's what he's going to be stuck with, is right wing back. I agree, and I think that Lund did a good job. I saw some people criticize him, but he's going up against, in my opinion, a really good player. It's just that I think some of our fan base is a little bit restrictive into new players, especially if they're not known or mainstream or with the hype. But I think he did a good job. I think that Brendan looked good again. You know, Arisa came on and he did well. I thought that McKinney did well. I don't think that Johnny did bad either. As I saw, and you know, I'll be the first one to say that Johnny didn't do well. I saw one person specifically going off on Twitter on Johnny. I don't think he did bad at all. I think just an okay game, really, a little bit underwhelming. But this camp as a whole, I think that the order of the matches is so USSF. I don't know if that's exactly what Germany and Ghana had requested. We don't know. But the fact that we play Germany and we can get away with getting slapped, and then I said it before as well, if we go over and beat Ghana with a statement, I don't think there's a statement win at all beating Ghana, even if it was 5-0. Because the chance to ultimately make a statement was there for taking the first game, and I think that we could have done a lot better. But what are your main takeaways, Braden, from this camp as a whole?
Yeah, I think this camp showed that our team, in its current state, with Greg as manager and with this current setup, is not ready for the big boys. It's a shame, because we saw flashes in the first half against Germany. We were, I wouldn't say the better team, but we were definitely on par with them. And if it had stayed that way for the second half, we definitely could have won that game, or at least gotten a draw like Mexico did against Germany. But yeah, and by the way, the fact that Mexico are getting a draw against Germany, I mean, obviously Germany didn't prioritize that game, but it's a little embarrassing for us. I'll just say we should be doing better than that. But yeah, Greg has to go, as always. Nothing's new there. I will say he has made a couple of improvements. His roster selection, for one, in his second stint has been a lot better. I don't think he's really made any mistakes at all with the roster selection in either camp, which is a positive thing. He's giving out debuts to some lesser-known players. Maloney got his debut today, which was nice to see. And it's interesting, actually, because Maloney, every time we had the ball, he was always calling for, always demanding it, which for a player who always has the least touches on his team in the Bundesliga, it is a little interesting. But yeah, so credit to Greg for actually recognizing some of these dual nationals that we've got. But besides that, the tactics need to change. Reina has to be in at all times, but if that happens, he's probably just going to get injured again. So realistically, we need another player on Reina's level in order to compete with the best of the best.
I agree. I'm going to say, I've always said it. I like Reina. I think that he's one of our highest ceiling players. I just don't think that he is world-class potential, but it is crucial to have a player like him. I think part of the reason why he's overrated by our fan base is we're not used to having a player like him. And he's really good. I agree that I think that he should be playing. I would like to see Greg adapt his style around the best players that he has. I think there is a suitable formation out there to utilize and get the most out of Pulisic, Reina, and Balogun without having to play the way that Greg likes to play. And ultimately, this camp, for me, it just leave with a bittersweet taste. And not only, I'll just say it's just bitter, really. I just think that it's a nice win today, but so what, really? I don't think they're gonna put up the fight against us. And the thing that I want to see is for us to punch above our weight. And I don't even think it's punching that much above our weight, really, if we try to have a respectable game against Germany. As you said, in the first half, I think it could have been, it was nice. I don't mind us being put up against the wall against these teams, but I want to see us punch above our weight. Aim for a little bit more than the bare minimum. And I think that this camp just shows more of the same. Maybe the bare minimum will get updated to actually beating convincingly the teams that we should be beating, and then still getting slapped by the ones that we want to compete with. But yeah, I'm just a little frustrated, to be honest. The U23s are on now. Anything you want to say in regards to them? I'm just going to say I think this is a good game, and people should be watching. And I think that Paxton Harrison really should be within a shout for the next camp, especially if we play some nobody countries. I'm sorry to whoever we're going to play, but if we play Uzbekistan or that sort of country again, please get him involved. I think he's a really important player. You mentioned that we need a player like Gio Reyna. I'm not saying that Paxton is at that quality level, but I think that he can be a really good alternative for that position. He plays everywhere close to the box really well, in my opinion, even if it drifts out wide.
Yeah, and our next camp is going to be in the CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinals against either Honduras or Trinidad. I don't know which one it's going to be, but they're lesser opponents. It is an important game. We have to win to qualify for the Copa America, but I wouldn't hate it to see someone like Paxton called in, because I think he can do a job against that quality of opposition. And let us know in the comments if you want a full in-depth video on this U23 camp. I think it's a very interesting roster that we brought, and there's definitely a lot to unpack from these two games, even though, like we've touched on in the past, the first one wasn't streamed for some reason. But yeah, should we do player ratings for this camp to close out the video?
Absolutely. Or we can do the stock watch as well. The ones we can pick a few more players. If you want to pick we can go with whatever. I'll pick the ones that the stock went up for me and give their ratings, if that's okay. I'll get started with well, I'm not going to pick Pulisic because I already have the stock all the way up there. So even though he did well, I'm going to pick Gio Reyna. I've said that he doesn't do much. Honestly, I feel like a lot of times he's ghosting, but he is a good player. He brings something that we don't have, which ultimately we need to explore. We have to explore if we want to get better. As a team, really, we need a player to unlock defenses like with the capability that he does. So his stock goes up. Played and didn't get injured, which I'm surprised. We need to start wrapping him in bubble wrap, and honestly, I'm really happy. I think his stock goes up. I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10. I just wish that he was a little bit more incisive in the game against Germany, and you can tell that all of our players are really fragile mentally wise. I don't think that they are super down, but they rely on it in order to have good games. Once they get the game going, they can perform at a high level, but it takes time. What about you, Braden?
Well, the main two players who I think stock went up weren't actually at the camp. It's Jedi and Tyler Adams, because I think the Germany game in particular proved how crucial these two players were. When we touched on it during our live stream, if you guys missed that, Jedi, I mean, the left back position, like we said, Dest cannot play there at all. Lund, I really like him, but defensively against top wingers is not going to cut it. He's amazing going forward, very technical, and he can be at that level, and eventually he's still only 21, but right now, I think even if you put him in there against Germany, I think he'd do better than Dest did, but I still think Sane would be able to beat him on several occasions. So Jedi, it just shows how crucial Jedi is, because he is really a lockdown defender, even if his technical abilities aren't quite there. So I think having those two players at left back, we can make tactical adjustments depending on the opponent, which is really nice, because in the past we haven't had a real backup for Jedi. And for Tyler, I mean, we saw in the Germany game, they had so much time and space on the edge of the box. Pascal Gross hit a shot off the post. Okay Gundogan had a couple of chances as well. And honestly, they should have capitalized on it more. And having a player like Tyler Adams, a true six, a destroyer in there, which we didn't have. We just had Musa and McKennie trying to fight back. It's absolutely crucial against these higher quality opponents. And we have Maloney, who's kind of in that same mold of player, but he's not there yet. He could be in the future, but realistically, he's not Tyler Adams. And we need a player like that. Even Johnny and Tessman, neither of them, I don't think fit the mold, really. And not to bash them as players. I think Johnny actually had a pretty decent game against Ghana, but he's not a true six, so we really need Tyler Adams back. And I completely agree with the Reina take. I mean, our offense is so different with him in, and all creativity is lost, and we just go back to Greg Ball when he's out, which obviously is a lot worse than when he's in.
For the stocks down, I'm going to say Chris Richards mostly, honestly. Ridiculously bad. I mean, if this is how he trains, honestly, no wonder he doesn't play for Palace. I'm not even going to jump on the board and say that he needs to move to where. Honestly, really disappointed. With the level that he showed in this camp, he can throw him in MLS and he won't be a standout defender. Honestly, I'm just going to say I feel like it was horrible, really. My expectations for him were really high. I thought he looked really shaky, some really basic stuff that it was atrocious at times. The positioning, the speed, and anticipation, interceptions, even the passing, everything was bad. If I give him a rating, I'll give him a 0 out of 10. I know it sounds harsh, but I can't pinpoint a single thing that I think that he did well. I thought he was so bad. Horrible, really. And for Dest, I would pick him for stocks down as well, but for the left back position, I'm the biggest Dest defender you get out there. I'm his best lawyer. I'll just blame it on the fact that he was playing on the left, and then I'll give him a stock up for the second game. But for his stocks down, I can't think of anyone that did worse than Richards. And I would just say Greg again. Even though he had a better roster call-up, I don't like his press conferences. And what's up with him giving all these press conferences and answers and talking to the media prior to the Germany game and afterwards goes silent? Come on, he's supposed to be a real leader. And anyways, I don't know. I just feel like that Greg relies and gets away with the quality of the players in the roster. Nothing is on his own merit, honestly. Even the call-ups. At this point, if you continue calling up Rodon and all these MLS lifers are Areola, it would be an undeniable sack. So I won't give him credit for anything.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Obviously, Richards is the key one. And getting outperformed by Miles Robinson today, maybe your MLS take about him could be right. But I'm still holding out hope. But what I will say is, if this is the quality of our defense in 2026 and even next year in the Copa America, we are not winning anything. Others for stock down. Honestly, this might be a little surprising, but I'm going to go for Yunus Musa. I think against Germany, he was playing his heart out. He was actually one of our best defenders against Germany, despite being in midfield, so I'll give him credit for his effort, but the quality wasn't really there. And even against Ghana today, I think he was probably our worst midfielder, even worse than Johnny and honestly even Maloney and McKennie when they came in. So his stock has to go down. I still think his spot is safe with Tyler Adams out, but it's a little concerning. I think McKennie definitely moves ahead of him in the pecking order, which will be important once Tyler Adams is back, because like I said, we need a player like that in the lineup against the big boys. And the other one would be Tim Weah. I mean, he got an assist today, which was nice, but I'm just not really impressed by him, to be honest. And I think if we do flip Luka Kolyasho, fingers crossed, but there has been some reports out of Italy that he has made a decision. He wasn't on the bench or in the starting lineup today for Italy's U21s, which is telling. And with all the gambling problems that have been going on at all levels of their camps, it's looking more and more likely that he'll choose us. And if he does, I think he immediately slots into the starting lineup for Weah. And even Brendan Aronson as well has a claim for that spot.
Yeah, I'm going to say those are great picks. Honestly, I think that Weah's spot is not a locked-in position as it was in the past, especially considering he won't be playing there. You can tell that it's not the same when a guy's not doing that job day in, day out. The assist, people want to, stat pad and sugarcoat the performances. Okay, I think that was pretty irrelevant, to be honest. Shocking defending. And the other point that you made about Musa, I agree. I think that it's nice. His stock goes down a little bit, but it's nice that he's not the locked-in starter like everyone claims. He's so young. People forget how young Musa is. He's really young. He has time. And Musa is the type of guy to be on the bench by 26, and that's fine. He's a really young player. Where he plays, the style that he plays, you can tell that he'll be good when the game's going 100, 200 miles per hour in the midfield, and he's going to adapt and evolve into a really good player. I like the fact that he didn't do too well, so people ease him into with the expectations. And yeah, I agree with spot on with the takes. And if Kolyasho goes to the US, I'm sorry, Weah goes to the bench right away. And I think that he immediately, honestly, that is a good don't make me drink, but Pulisic, Reina, Kolyasho, Balogun, that puts us on a higher level, on a different pedestal. And I hope that we get that. Honestly, that would be incredibly amazed if he does that. Because, again, nobody in Italy likes him. Nobody likes all these dual nats in Italy. Nobody. Unless you're Argentinian, they won't like it. So, anyways. Anything else that you'd like to add on in regards to the camp, Brayden?
Not much, honestly. Hopefully, I was kind of hoping Horvath would play a game. It's kind of random, but I mean, he's not going to play for Nottingham Forest ever again, so might as well give him a chance in a friendly because he needs the game time.
That's true. I'm really excited to see Brady, especially after watching I'm really excited to see him involved with the main team, honestly. I feel like, it might be time to call him up, give him some games. I feel like he should be starting for the U23s all the time now. I'm really excited for it. I think that the goalkeeping position is sort of up for grabs as well. It's not as much of a locked out position, especially when you consider age as well. Yeah, goalkeepers age like fine and wine, and we've seen some age like milk. So maybe I think that spot may be up for grabs by 26. But yeah, thank you very much, Brayden. Thank you for everyone who tuned in to watch. Make sure you leave your comments, subscribe, like, and share with your friends, and let us know what you guys want us to talk about. And we'll cover it throughout the week. We'll try to upload a little bit more regularly. Fingers crossed I don't work as much as I've been doing lately. But thank you very much. Thank you for watching us. We'll see you next time.